What's up, whoever's watching? I didn't see that from KGG. He will roll over and sing like a bird, watch and see everything to try and save his own ass. Well, isn't that what everybody does? Which won't matter anyways. Maybe he shouldn't have been trying to sell machine gun parts on YouTube. Regardless if he was selling machine gun parts, KGG, it's still, see, this is the one thing I don't understand about people, especially, people call themselves patriots. What's going on, NG? KGG, I don't understand what you're trying to say. Like, man, like, we shouldn't have sold machine gun parts. Dude, a freaking auto key card by itself is not a machine gun. Wow, he put his own self where he is right now. I mean, yeah, well, that's your opinion there, KGG. By the way, KGG, I just saw this comment on the CRS firearms arrested and what could happen next. Somebody commented on an hour ago on that video, and I just started looking at it. No, it wasn't. It wasn't in the chat. It was. It was on the CRS firearms arrested in what could happen next video that I uploaded. That seems to get. It has 7 dislikes and 4 likes. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure my channel is shadow banned anyways. Yeah, he just thinks that whoever that person said, KGG, all lowercase, by the way. Um, not trying to understand what he or she was saying that auto key cards are by definition machine guns by themselves. That just makes no sense to me. No, it's not. They're just shadow banning channels like mine too. Like it doesn't matter if you go live or if you upload videos. see see all the other comments. People are. That's about it. Already got 96 views on CRS firearms and what could happen next vid. Nah, that you're exactly right there, NG. We're not in the free country, and I think a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand like you're. It's all an illusion, really. It really is. I mean, people may say, "Yeah, well, I have control over." I mean, speaking of which, everybody talks about controlling the COVID-19 outbreaks. It was going to happen either way. When I found out back in late 2019 that there's COVID-19 outbreaks in China, I knew it was a matter of time that COVID-19 was going to come here to the US. A matter of time. And lo and behold, I was right. I mean, it's not like I have the gift to foresee the future. I wish I did. But anybody could see that COVID-19 was going to make its way here. What's going on? Who's watching? 2 people. See who that is. Well, don't know why it fluctuates. See, that's shadow banning at its worst. Well, that was around the same time I started, to become very outspoken against the BS in the patriot community. Um, Especially when I think it's the video titled Virginia Dems something Civil War in response to the Yankee Marshal. There's another guy who just talks out of his rear end so much. I'm pretty sure he supports Antifa. I think there's a video out there that he says, I support you guys. Okay. Of course, around that time, it was like a different time back then. Oh, they'll call you anything. Oh, you're a Marxist. Oh, you're a communist. Oh, how dare you disrespect the veterans? How dare you? They say stuff like that just to make themselves feel better because they think they they're so high and mighty. This they put the veterans on a pedestal, and yet those same people talk so much about, well, we need to do something about the homeless veterans, like the liberals. They talk about, you know, giving housing to the homeless, but yet they don't put forth the effort to get people off the streets. They just basically kick them out. But the right, they say, oh, well, we got to do something about the homeless veterans. But when it comes down to it, when it's time to practice what you preach, they do nothing to help those homeless veterans. And yet they want to sit around and say, "Oh, how dare you disrespect the veterans? How dare you?" No, no. Been dealing with that crap for 8 or 9 years, and quite honestly, I'm getting sick and tired of the troop worship. Well, how dare you disrespect the veterans? No, just shut up, dude. Those people need to shut up. I mean, if somebody said, if I was on duty at the firehouse, my fire department, and someone said, fuck the firefighters, I'd be like, okay, you have every right to say, fuck the firefighters. You have every right to say that. I'm not going to be like one of those cops or firefighters or veterans that going to be like, oh, how dare you disrespect me because of my uh, career choice. Well, I wouldn't say career choice, but whatever. That's yeah, it's troop worship. I mean, you're also seeing it like, especially after 9/11, you saw how, the firefighters and EMTs and paramedics and the cops were worshipped after 9/11. What happened there? What happened in Pennsylvania at the Pentagon in DC, and of course New York when the two towers came down, they collapsed and all of that. It became nothing more than a cesspit, a cesspool of first responder worship. You see, that's another big problem in this country. Nobody has no sense of individualism. Nobody has the guts to question anything, to challenge anyone or anything. See, that's the big thing here. That's my main talking point. You know, everybody says, "Oh, we have individual rights," but okay, do you really believe in individual rights? Do you really believe in individual freedoms? Because if you did, you would have no problem with someone saying, F the police, F firefighters, F the veterans, F the military, F this, F that, F the world, F the Blue Lives Matter, F the Black Lives Matter. You wouldn't have a problem with that. But apparently, some people have a problem if you actually do say F Black Lives Matter, F this, F that. It is more. It really is more. It's it's factionalism. Like, seriously, it's factionalism, really. Tribalism, statism. You're seeing statism right now. Look what happened to CRS Firearms. That simple, really. You're seeing it every day. Statism and all that, tribalism, all that kind of stuff. You're seeing all that crap. Factionalism. Mm, yep. Yep. See how many dislikes I have on that video now. I'm actually just gonna leave it up. And by the way, NG, I'm actually serious. Yep, whole lot of isms. Um, I'm actually serious. I'm not going to talk about politics anymore. I think it's just a waste of my time. You know, I'm responsible for my own happiness, and that's what I'm going to do. Not to mention, I have other things to worry about. Like, I got to worry about installing a new TPMS sensor for one of my tires on my car. After I just got 4 new tires, so it's inspection ready. Oh, same thing for me. YouTube did the same thing to me. Of course, yes, I'm monetized, but I don't monetize my rant videos. There's a reason for that, but I usually monetize my uh, GoPro fire response videos. Um, and of course, I want to start doing some ghost hunting or whatever and all that kind of stuff. But YouTube did that bull crap, ghost me and all that, ghosted my channel, shadow banned my channel and all that. Yeah, it's still sitting at 4 likes and 7 dislikes. Titled video titled "CRS Firearms Arrested and What Could Happen Next." Where is everybody? Where is Faith? Where is all of them? Oh, did have you NG, have you watched any more of Raging Rob's videos? That guy. He has like what, 5 YouTube channels, maybe more. And his one of his YouTube channels, which is called hold on, I think it's JWO. Yeah, JWO, Raging Rob. In one of his videos, he actually agreed with me and said that I'm right. Actually, I'm going to play that for you.
How much more you motherfuckers gonna take? Up the butthole. All this shit that Red Reaper is preaching, he's spot on correct. I'm gonna say that. Red Reaper, I agree with you 100%.
Got to tell you, Rage and Rob, like I'm pretty sure I know for a fact you watch my videos. Why disagree with me before, but then you agree with me afterwards? Maybe because you're so sick and tired of placating to your masters, begging your masters permission to exercise your rights and all that kind of stuff. I mean, really, that's the way I see it. But that's the video I'm talking about. Go think he starts mentioning my name.
Up against his shit. Enough's enough. How much more you motherfuckers gonna take? Up the butthole.
Well, Rage and Rob, I mean, it's pretty simple, really. Maybe those people like to take it up the butthole. It's at 13 minutes and 47. Yeah, 13 minutes and 47 seconds is when he mentioned me.
All this shit that Red Reaper is preaching, he's spot on correct. I'm gonna say that. Red Reaper, I agree with you 100%. He was right. Can't deny it.
Not only was I right, I'm still right. I mean, look what happened to CRS Firearms. See, I just don't understand some people, NG. I really don't understand. A buddy of mine, he watches my videos. He says, I question some things you say, Red. I was like, why is that? He goes, because you know he's one of those people who looks at things from he looks at the big picture, picture and all that. He understands both sides' arguments and all that. But he did say, the reason why, it's not just because I come off as abrasive a certain way, but he did say maybe because those people they can't admit that you read that you're right. I was like, of course I'm right. But of course, they don't want to admit that they're wrong either. They just say, "Hey, I'm right. This is the way I do things." Like, I mean, you name it like carrying signs in a peaceful protest on the side of a public sidewalk which is completely legal to do. Standing on the side of a sidewalk with signs and all of that protesting against your government, that's completely legal to do. That's completely okay. What's going on, Tech? But nothing much, Tech. What's going on with you? Just talking about the BS going on. Touched up a little bit on CRS. Somebody commented on my video about CRS firearms and said, Well, maybe CRS shouldn't have been selling auto key cards, which is like a machine gun. No, it's not. Auto key card by itself is not a machine gun whatsoever. Whoever made up that definition per the language of the National Firearms Act doesn't understand what that what that means. Or they have loose screws in their head. I don't know. Dude, I tell you what, NG and tech, I've seen it like NG knows what I'm talking about. Look, just looking at what people post on Gaze and Gizmo's channel. I don't know. Zombie Fairies channel. Those people don't even realize that Zombie Fairy and Gaze and Gizmos has their supporters wrapped around their fingers. Yeah, and also wearing their Gadsden t-shirts that says "Come and take it." Just because I'm wearing this Alaska sweatshirt doesn't make me an Alaskan. I mean, I do love the state of Alaska, but they wear their "Come and take it" merchandise. It's like I said a while ago. People going around saying, "Oh well, I want to get that T-shirt that has the Punisher's logo on it." Like they have something to prove. Like, you know, prime example, you see it all the time on on Facebook. All these people posting pictures of themselves with American flags and Gadsden flags, all that kind of stuff. And people, it gets me that, personally, it doesn't bother me that people wave around their Confederate flags. But when those people say the South will rise again, okay, so what? What you're trying to say? That the South is going to become rebellious again? I wonder where NG went. It really gets me that people just wear "Let's Go Brandon" merch like it sends a direct message. Let's go, Brandon. People who wear that stuff and the "Come and Take It" merch, the Gadsden flag merch, and all that. Like, oh, you're fine, NG. But I don't understand why people wear that stuff. Like they got something to prove or something like that of that ilk. And of course, I found out the Freedom Convoy up there at the U.S. and Canadian border. Like, you're protesting against Trudeau's vaccine mandates, whatever it is, whatever some kind of has something to do with COVID-19. See, people don't understand that power does what it wants. I mean, it's like asking a bully to stop bullying you, but really, deep down, just because you ask doesn't mean that the bully is not gonna is gonna is gonna stop. I think the only way to stop the BS is, well, of course, people may say, "Well, you're extremist. You're nothing but a fed boy." Okay, you're a bunch of fed boys too. I mean, if you don't, the people who say that to me, they don't understand that it's going to take a big fight to get over this. But would that solve the problem long term? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah. I remember when I used to do the lives back in the summer, spring, whatever. It seemed like I got more. That I got more people in the chat. Well, that's all they are, Brandons, right there. You're exactly right. They're a bunch of Brandons. What's going on? Tristan, if I pronounce your name wrong. I wonder. I wonder what. See the thing. I wonder what Dry Fire Faith has to say about this. I'm more interested in what Dry Fire Faith has to say about CRS Farms, the fact that he was arrested by the U.S. Marshals because of the auto key card situation. I'm more concerned. I want to know what Dry Fire Faith has to say. Well, down here it's snowing. think it's supposed to stop snowing sometime in the early hours of tomorrow, maybe later on. I can't remember. Probably have to look. Yeah, it's supposed to stop around like 3 ish a.m. something like that. But then we're gonna have to deal with 26-degree weather, and then it's supposed to warm up to 39, then warm up on, well, tomorrow it's supposed to be 26, Sunday 39 degrees, Monday 46, Tuesday 51, Wednesday 53, Thursday 56, and then next Friday it's going to be back down to 38. People won't make it in this kind of weather that it changes, you know, from really cold 1 minute and next minute it changes, it goes back to 40 degrees, and then it's 50 some degrees, and then it goes back to being freezing, and then all that kind of stuff, and then it snows really bad to like 6 to, I don't know, 2 feet, and oh no. Well, I think that's where um what I'm getting down here in Virginia there, Tristan, whatever. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but we're just getting flurries, probably between 1 to 3 inches of rain. I mean, snow. What do you mean there, NG? Where's the cold, dark winter? I think it changes where, certain areas get the most snow each year, because last year Virginia didn't get that much snow to begin with. Now this year, all we had was two good snowstorms, but the one snowstorm that we had that came just expectedly early this month, um, it it didn't do much really. Now the last snowstorm that we had, yeah, there's still snow on the ground. Oh, you mean people like Zombie Fairy going around saying, "Oh, SHTF 2022," talking about them. What's up, Jay? I think I have a feeling that you're talking about those people, NG, because so far SHTF hasn't happened yet. Hasn't happened. If anything, Civil War should have been started long before this bull crap was going on that we're dealing with today, especially in the last 2 years. If anything, Civil War should have started in November 2018 when the cops murdered Gary Willis murdered Gary Willis in that red flag gun confiscation raid. Civil War should have started when Ralph Northam imposed his unconstitutional gun control BS here in Virginia in late 2019. And before that, he was caught for in a picture with that whole blackface thing. I'm glad he's out, but Youngkin, I'm not too sure about him now. Even though I voted for him, I'm not too sure about him. I think from now on, I'm going to vote for Libertarian. No, there were two red flag red flag raids in Maryland. One where Gary Willis was murdered in November 2018. I think I know what you're talking about. There was a red flag order raid up there in New Jersey. Can't remember the guy's name, but and also Duncan Lemp was also brutally murdered by the cops in March 2020 in the same state, Maryland, in a red flag gun confiscation order raid. But what's so interesting about those two gun confiscation raids, they have yet to release the body cam footage of both raids. Well, that tells me that the cops who murdered Gary Willis and Duncan Lemp, that they're guilty. And I'm pretty sure there are gun confiscation raids happening right now with little to no media coverage. Jay Clayton, do you mind if you can share a link about the red flag order raid that happened in New Jersey? Please. See that's the one thing people in the 2A community don't understand. They say, "Well, we're so sick and tired of red flag laws and all that kind of stuff," but they don't think outside the box. That's why I said, people don't listen to other ideas. That makes them think. That makes them think harder and all that. That makes them think outside the box and all that kind of stuff. CNG. Yeah, you too. Might have to take care because who knows if the U.S. Marshals are capable of coming after people for having auto key cards or 80% lowers and pistol braces. Who's to say that the ATF and FBI is not capable of doing the same thing, or even the local and state cops? Well, Jay, I'm pretty sure I think New Jersey is a red flag law state too. Because if you remember, let's go back to what happened in right after the Parkland shooting. They they pushed for red flag laws afterwards. Like, see, that's the one thing that gets me. Both sides, they politicalize every mass shooting when it's the time to mourn, not the time to talk about politics. I think that's incredibly disrespectful. And quite honestly, especially, you know, Blue Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter, um, they're making money by putting dead people's names on their t shirts. In my opinion, that's sick. No, you memorialize those people's memory here or here. Simple. But then again, it is all about that almighty dollar and all that. Well, Jay, I'm afraid that after what happened to CRS Farms, and not to mention, you know, there's going to be people know, who talked about what happened at Waco, Ruby Ridge, what happened in Granby, Colorado in 2004, what Marvin Heemeyer did. Um, they're going to talk about the gun confiscation raids in New Orleans, 2005. They're going to talk about the gun confiscation raids on against Duncan Lemp and Gary Willis. They're going to use that, and it's going to be the next time this whole ordeal plays out. Like, I don't know, U.S. Marshals or FBI or the ATF goes after people for having 80% lowers, um, auto key cards, or pistol braces, or any other firearms, accessories, components that the ATF deems to be illegal because they like to make up laws as they go along. Rules for thee, but not for thee, right? Rules for thee, but not for me. But I'm afraid the next time I believe both sides are going to suffer. I believe the next gun confiscation raid, red flag raid, is going to be worse than Waco. That's what I believe. Yeah, I don't understand that duty to retreat bull crap. I think that's the biggest load of crap. That's like that's like an army, a military, you know, not having the freaking balls to actually stand their ground, to maintain the ground that they just gained, but they're being overrun by a much larger force or a much smaller force. It's not going to be surprising. I'm not going to. I'm. It's going to be. It's going to be it's that red flag law I'm talking about. It's coming, dude. In due time, dude. In due time. It- the next gun confiscation raid, the next 80% lowers or auto key card or pistol brace confiscation raid, it's going to make the Waco siege look like a pushover. I mean, if it takes violence for them to understand what they're doing is wrong, then so be it. And that's one thing that most people don't understand. You know, yes, I understand that violence begets violence, but sometimes, like I keep saying, you got to put your foot on, foot down, got to put the hammer down, and say when is enough enough. It's just that simple. Oh, it's not just going to be criminals protecting criminals. It's going to be different when things get real. No, you can't comply your way out of tyranny. See, that's the one thing I'm worried about. CRS firearms. I have a feeling he's going to roll over. That's just my opinion. I think he's going to roll over. But even if he does roll over, he thinks that's going to save him. No. I think I've heard, if my memory serves me correctly, he's been charged with conspiracy as well as owning something that's completely illegal. And yet here we are talking about freedom and all that kind of stuff. Well, I hope he doesn't roll over. I hope he doesn't squeal. Because, you got a bunch of wannabe badasses on these so-called pro 2A YouTube channels like Guns and Gadgets, Tier 1 Citizen, um, others, especially Cody Boy 32 Tactical, say, oh, when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. They say, oh, we're going to do this and all that kind of stuff. And yet, I get, I get the shortest stick. People say, oh, well, you're a freaking idiot. You're a freaking retard and say you're going to do this when the cops or whoever else tries to confiscate your guns. I think you're stupid. How is that stupid? Seriously, how is that stupid? You know, uh, talking directly to the so-called patriots here for a minute. Maybe there's a reason why you don't approach me and say all that bullshit. Maybe because you're scared. But you don't bother. You don't hesitate to talk all that BS through a freaking keyboard. There's a reason why you don't say all that bull crap to my face. Because you're cowards. And the fact that you all disagree with me pretty much shows that I'm telling the truth. That this country, the United States of America, the United States of America, is a nation full of cowards, cuckolds, fuds, patriots. Maybe instead of going around talking tough, pretending to be a wannabe badass, a wannabe Rambo badass, but really you're nothing more than just a human being like everybody else. Talk all that bullshit to me, to my face. Well, see, Treston, a lot of people who say that give me liberty or give me death. When they're when they get shot and they're close to dying, some people may regret it, what they did. When someone faces death, like head on, that's when you know what that person is made of. You know, all these people, and this applies to me too. You know, all these people they talk about, they come across as badasses and all that. I mean, first of all, if you have to go around and pretend that you're a freaking patriotic badass or you're masculine or something like that, or that you brag about this or that, chances are that you're not masculine. You don't have any masculinity, or chances are you're not a badass whatsoever. Just being honest. So again, Patriots, if you want to talk all that shit, instead of saying that bullcrap with the keyboard, say that to my face. Because then I would actually respect you. I would if you actually said that to my face. Oh, you're this and that. You're an idiot and all that kind of stuff. You divide others. Well, like I said before, this country has been divided long before Bush was in office. We did drop the ball. We failed to keep the U.S. government in check. You know, it never ceases to amaze me. You know, that's why I said I'm laughing about the fact that, CRS, that he was talking about being peaceful. Well, how did being peaceful work out for him in the end after his home, whatever, he was raided and arrested? How did that work out for him? What's up, Paul? Well, Jay, back in the 80s, it was a different time back then. Talking about something way different. What's up, Paul? You know, I have to agree with Zombie Fairy and what he said in his previous video. Um, the great reset and all that kind of stuff. What happens if, all these people don't know how to hunt and all that kind of stuff? And, you know, back in the 40s, it was a different time too. Back in the 50s, different time. You're talking about in an era where steam locomotive trains were a thing and diesel engines were making their way into the industry. My baby. I think the 90s is where you got to see that. How can I say this? I'll get back to you because I think it was more like late 90s. because like I didn't know the difference back then. I think my mom said something about, the attitude about politics in the early 90s was way different compared to the late 90s, like 1999 at least. You were all there too. You all experienced it. We were in the midst of a new millennia and all that kind of stuff. The year 2000 and all that, and everybody made a big deal about it and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I was in middle school, 6th grade back then. I was a youngin', but let's see here. It was a different time. Late 2000s was a different time compared to early 2000s, especially early 2000s. 9/11. Then of course you had to deal with the mass shootings. Of course, the um, Columbine mass shooting in 1998, I think, is when it happened. Probably need to get a new front for this. This helmet right here cost me $1,000. $1,020 some dollars. What's going on, Telling Stewart? What, New Yorker helmets? Sam Houston helmets are more expensive than New Yorker helmets. I chose to get the reason why it's so flat, because like that, it's so flat. It's called the Boston Bend. The Bronx Bend, where just this part, is folded like that. I don't like that. There's a standard bend, you got the Colorado bend, you got the cowboy bend, and all that kind of stuff. I personally like the Boston bend better than anything else. That's just my opinion. But that is OSHA compliant, not NFPA compliant. The Sam Houston is NFPA compliant. That's if you get the NFPA Borks. I don't like the NFPA Borks. Don't like them one bit. I think the NFPA and whoever else who makes all these rules needs to understand that just let tradition ring on. Oh, for me, when I first started out back in 2006, yeah. But the first call was, I'm not gonna, the first call was weird. It was a medical. Thank you, Clayton. Definitely want to get more subscribers. I'm actually gonna, since some of y'all are in here right now. I'm actually serious and not posting any more political videos. I think it's a waste of time. Really. I'm just gonna leave them be. If they want to perpetuate the definition of insanity, or they do the same things over and over again, expecting a different result, if they want to sue, they want to vote, they want to peacefully protest, and not realize that some things that you're gonna have to fight for, by all means, just let them do what they want to do. If they want the problem to be dragged on, that's their problem. That's the way I see it. What's up, T Rex? Oh, by the way, T Rex, hold on. You said something. You said you notice how the Patriots always talk about cancel culture. They cancel shit more than anyone. Carhartt and whoever else, NFL. Personally, I'm not a big football fan. I'm not a big fan of the National Ferry League. So, I mean, when you have companies like prime example, um, you have a bunch of companies coming out, coming forward saying, "Hey, we're against, the Second Amendment," right? Um, they're attacking the majority of their fan base. I believe from what I've heard, what I've heard is Levi's jeans, after they came out anti Second Amendment, that their sales went down. So did Walmart's, only for a time. So did Kroger. Because if you remember, after the El Paso shooting, the Walmart and Kroger said, we're going to come up with a policy that says, um, we kindly ask that you do not open carry. Whoever, I can't speak today. Whoever else is watching, what's up? I think it's going to take a lot for this bull crap to end. Like, I mean, to the point of discomfort. To make change happen and all that, you're just going to have to become uncomfortable. This is a sweet helmet. I didn't think I would like the front. The Island. 303. That's my radio number, 303. The passport right here. I chose the patent leather. Thinking about getting, where are these? Yeah, they're tiny. I'm surprised. I'll tell you one thing. I am surprised that Guns and Gadgets and Coda Boy 32 actually made videos about CRS firearms. I'm amazed that they did. Just being real, I'm amazed that they made videos on their channels, respectively, talking about what happened to CRS firearms. I'm surprised. Yeah, well, I mean, those companies, like, see, the thing is, going back to what I've said before, perpetuating the definition of insanity. Like, prime example, so many years ago, remember that there's a restaurant called the Red Hen. It's in the county above me in Lexington, Virginia, Rockbridge County. I live in Botetourt County, Virginia. Um, basically, how the story goes, Apparently Sarah Saunders, uh, who was a part of Trump's team and all that kind of stuff when Trump was in office, and apparently Sarah Saunders was kicked out and all that. And then everybody caught wind of it and said, "Oh, this is bullcrap. Let's protest." Well, the Red Hen closed for about, I don't know, X amount of time. I can't remember how long. It's been that long ago, but they protested against the Red Hen. The conservatives protested against the Red Hen, but yet afterwards, the Red Hen actually got more business. So whatever the right was trying to do backfired. That's what I'm trying to say. They perpetuate the definition of insanity. Now, going back to Zombie Fairy's video where he said something about the Civil War and that he doesn't like Lincoln. I don't give a damn if he doesn't like Lincoln or likes him. It's whatever. I don't give a damn. But he said he's not going to throw away his Carhartt shirts because you know, because of what a company did or said. Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're pro mandatory vaccinations, pro mask wearing, and all that. We're against Second Amendment and all that kind of stuff. He said, "I'm not going to throw away my clothes that has Carhartt on it because I spent my hard-earned money on it." I mean, yeah, you have the right to sit around and say, you know, and say all of that, but really, you got to practice what you preach. I'm just saying. And Zombie Farmer, if you watch this live stream, you got to practice what you preach. It's that simple. You do. Well, telling Stewart, they've actually been doing that for a long time now. See, this is why I actually wish I had a time machine. Go back in time so I don't have to deal with this bull crap. I would say, see, a lot of people don't understand. You know, they say, "Oh, I just can't wait to get out of here, get out of this high school and all that kind of stuff, get out of this state and go to Los Angeles." Yeah, you want to go to Los Angeles that has more problems than a freaking high school does. You be my guest. I mean, the only reason I would go to Los Angeles is if I want to buy a nice house there, not a freaking mansion. And besides, the rent there is way too expensive. I believe it for a can of this, like can of this stuff, Longhorn Natural Fine Cut, it's expensive, probably between $4 to $7, and they get you with the tax too. Yeah, I caught wind of that too, T Rex. I caught wind of that actually. Uh, he says, "I'm not against I'm against slavery and all that kind of stuff." Okay, well, if you didn't like Lincoln and all that kind of stuff, I mean, yeah, there were some things that Lincoln did that were questionable. Yeah, he did this and did that. And then after, the video I made, he he said something about, he's Lincoln is the only president that invaded his own country. No, if I remember correctly, it was the Confederates who fired the first shot at Fort Sumter, South Carolina. So if anything, look at the facts. Yeah, well, the only thing that has going for it is Billie Eilish, David Dobrik, all those YouTube influencers. Of course, I want to do all those vlogs and, of course, do the ghost hunting videos and do the GoPro fire department response videos too, as well, along with all that. But, you know, you see, I'm not like David Dobrik, not like him one bit. I mean, I do watch his videos. He has some good content, and as far as the whole, see, speaking of cognitive dissonance and whatever, perpetuating the definition of insanity. I don't know if you know this, but um, David Dobrik, um, he got a lot of unwanted criticism because of what happened a couple years ago with the vlog that he filmed that's not now deleted. Apparently, his friend Dom something, I don't know how do you pronounce his name. Um, apparently, he raped a woman, and of course, people said, "Well, did you give the girls or girl the alcohol to drink?" And of course, the girl or girls, I think it was girls, who were underage at the time, and so apparently how it works. After some time passes by, nobody reports, the rape, and it's all opportunity. It's just opportunities. They they jump at the chance when the getting is good. I mean, I would like to live in California. I would like to live in the state of Washington too. But really, I would like to live in Texas or Alaska, probably Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, big one there. I would like to live in Maine or Florida. But the one bad thing about Florida is that you have to deal with a bunch of hurricanes. Never go full retard. You never go full retard. Oh, I watched that movie the other day. I need to put a dip in it now. You mean from San Diego to Vancouver, right? Vancouver is just as liberal as any other major city on the West Coast. I don't plan on going to Portland, Oregon. No, sir, Bob. and I wouldn't live in San Francisco either, especially after I found out about the biker war between the Hell's Angels MC and the Mongols MC that happened way back when. Almost as bad, Jay. There's a bunch of riots going on right now in Portland, Oregon. I don't really care much about Black Scout Survival, T Rex. I think all he does is, I mean, yeah, he gained my respect after he made a video about an NYPD police officer stepping on a American flag and all that. I mean, regardless if people say, "Well, you have the right to stomp on American flag," or wave it or whatever, you do you, boo boo, you do you. But he did earn my respect when he talked about the NYPD police officer who stomped on American flag for, I don't know, whatever reason. And heavy duty country, there's another guy who perpetuates the definition of insanity. The only person, there's two people I like. There's Outlaw and Ryan Upchurch. But do they have that sense of perpetuating the definition of insanity? Yes. What's up, NG? By the way, folks, knives are useful. Probably need to tighten this some bitch. Yeah, Jay, that I think the biker war was at and around San Francisco, I do believe, to um, San Diego. See, these people, they're right. They say, oh, well, these athletes, they ruin everything. They get paid to do this, they get paid to do that. I don't give a damn what Colin Kaepernick did. I'll tell you what I care about. I care about what I do. I don't care what, I mean, no offense to anyone watching, especially those people, the people commenting. Jay Clayton, I don't care what you do during the national anthem. Hey, Mary from, I don't know, North Dakota. I don't care what you do during the national anthem. All right. What people need to do is stay in their own lane. That's exactly what needs to go on here. People need to stay in their own lane, especially the public who goes around and says, especially that amazing atheist dude who talked a bunch of bullshit about firefighters. Oh, well, there's no frequency of fires. Okay. You don't live in Chicago or Milwaukee. Chicago and Milwaukee, especially Detroit, those are the capitals of the arsonist capitals of this country. You're talking about guys in Detroit Fire Department, Milwaukee Fire Department, and especially the Chicago Fire Department. Three of the most respected fire departments in this country, but the NY, not NY, the FDNY, the Fire Department of New York City, is the most respected fire department in this country, more than anything. But you have fire departments in Milwaukee, Chicago, and Detroit who probably get 5 to 7 structure fires each shift, or something like that. Maybe each week, maybe each day. And you got boroughs in New York City, like Brooklyn, Harlem. Well, I think it's more like a neighborhood, actually. You got Brooklyn, the Bronx. Let me tell you something. Back in the old days, you want to go back in the old days. Everybody talks about the good old days. Let me tell you something. Firefighters back in the old days, they wore helmets like this with cigars dangling out of their freaking mouths, with the halcyon in one hand, with a grab in another on the shoulder. A grab is a save, like saving someone. They saved someone. They're bringing that person out of the building. That's what a grab is, terminology wise for fire department. People just need to stay in their own lane, especially the amazing atheists going around saying there's no frequency of fires. There's more firefighters and all that. You got to be trained, cross trained. Well, yeah, in career fire departments, yeah, you have to. You sign a contract that you're pretty much bound to abide by. And I know in Roanoke City here in Virginia, I live in the Roanoke Valley, and Roanoke City, Roanoke County, and Salem fire departments, fire and EMS places, they they have you sign a 2-year contract for you to not only get your firefighter 1, firefighter 2, EVOC 1, 2, and 3, EMT basic level, and CPR, first aid, and all that kind of stuff. Trench rescue, confined space and rescue, probably vehicle extrication rescue, but also within those 2 years, you have to get paramedic certification. People just need to stay in their own lane. That's exactly what needs to happen. If people actually stayed in their own lane, maybe this world would be a better place. According to William Quing's book, the ATF guy who infiltrated one of the clubs for 2 years. Well, police departments and ATF and the FBI tried to, infiltrated 1%er motorcycle clubs. Who's all in here? Did that bore you guys? Yeah, I probably did. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's just me. Like when someone tells another firefighter, to do something like, it took you a while to get here. Okay, if you think you can change the fire department in general, the fire department response times, then how about you get your little butt over here apply for to be in the career or volunteer side of the fire service and make a change from within. You see, that's why I'm talking about action, right? Like I had an air leak in my passenger back tire. Of course, the other day, this past Saturday, I had to change that tire, put on the spare tire, went to the gas station, put some air in the spare tire, 60 psi, I do believe is what the standard is. And of course, I was on my way somewhere, and I saw this teenager, 16 years old, had a 2019 Chevy Camaro. I stopped and I was like, "What seems to be the problem?" He said, "I have a flat tire." And I said, "Okay. So why are you just standing around doing nothing then?" He said, "I don't know how to change a tire." Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Why are you standing around doing nothing? I probably shouldn't have said that. But when I want something done quick, I want it done quick. Like seriously, done quick. Well, I mean, NG, like, I'm not saying that people can't go around and say, "Oh, fuck the police, fuck the firefighters." They have the right to do so, but there's that fine line between talk and trap and just being ignorant and just saying, "Well, you need to do your job better." You need to. It took you forever to get here. Okay, well, make a change from within. Practice what you preach. See, that's the key thing here. Well, that's true too, NG. You can't stop people from being nosy. I've actually chewed out a number of people who go around and say, "Well, you need to do your job better. You needed to fight this vehicle fire better." I was like, "Well, by all means, get the freaking nozzle and show me how to do it better." But anyways, so I had to change this teenager's tire, change it, put his spare tire on his 2019 Chevy Camaro. And I said, watch and learn something. I'm not questioning the boy's manhood, integrity, or I'm not saying he's a beta male, but something when it comes down to it, what happens if you have to rely on yourself to do things? I don't think it has anything to do with fear. I just think people just do it out of spite, really. I think people just I think some people just talk out of their rear ends like it's like they want their 15 minutes of fame. You know what I mean? Well, I'll be right back. Oh, you're always going to deal with stupid people no matter what, NG. I mean, I think that's just a given. That's the way it is. Like, no, I had to pee. Drop a deuce. You know, I still watch that video of yours, NG, where you got pew pew, and we got you do that little number there. That's funny as crap, dude. That is funny. Well, I can't see apparently. I don't know why sheriff's offices even consider deputizing citizens. Like, somebody in Culpeper, Virginia, because of Ralph Northam's push for his anti-gun gun rights laws that he wanted to push and put into effect. There's this Sheriff Jenkins, up in Culpeper, Virginia, who wanted to deputize citizens. I was totally against it because you can't just deputize everyone. You can't do that. Well, I got a SOG tomahawk, look like a freaking Viking. Oh, I have a lot more knives. I do. That reminds me. Oh, I have 111 views on the CRS Farms at CS Farms arrested. And what could happen next video? Dang. Knives are just as useful as firearms. I think a lot of patriots don't understand that. I mean, you can use a pocket knife for practically anything, especially if you carry around a multi-tool. You don't have any tools, well, there you have a multi-tool, and there you go. You can't slice an apple with a 9 mil. Yeah, well, Zombie Fairy's mindset is skewed and flawed. I think really what happened to CRS Farm should be a lesson, not just for me, but also everyone, especially the SHTF preppers like Zombie Fairy. It's just that simple, really. Speaking of M&P, I think, well, he is a wannabe Rambo, especially the Patriots who they just call for a civil war. You know, they call for a civil war. They talk about civil war. They seek out war. That tells me that they're not ready for it. I mean, they can say, "Oh, I'm ready for it. I have all the ammo and all that kind of stuff, ammunition and all that stuff." Um, oh, I thought you meant Rambo's. They're T Rex, but there are there are some wannabe Rambo commandos in the 2A community, or in someone's words, 2A community. Wonder who else is in here. Regardless of what type of knife it is, if it's fixed blade or pocket knife, still comes in handy. No, it's all good. Telling Stewart. I don't care. I don't care what type of knife it is. Bowie knife, fixed blade knife, switchblade knife, pocket knife. Still useful to me. I'm not picky. I like the SOG and um, SOG, Smith and Wesson knives. Speaking of Smith and Wesson, I actually held a Smith and Wesson snub nose revolver, but it didn't have the hammer. I prefer to have the snub nose revolver to be in 357 Magnum chamber caliber, whatever. That's because T Rex. That's because Zombie Fairy is so full of shit. He's so full of himself. especially where he talked about he used scripture, iron sharpens iron. Then he complains about Lincoln using scripture because of a house divided, in his own words. I mean, dude, that's like the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, that's hypocrisy right then and there. I would like to do another live stream with Freedom Inc. though. I don't know. Hard to say. Yeah, pretty much. You're exactly right, Clayton. Personally, I think Fairy is arrogant. He's egotistical, egomaniacal. Everything he says, he talks out of his ass. He doesn't understand anything about the real world. Basically, when you disagree with him, he blocks you like a coward and all that. I mean, now if someone harasses you and all that kind of stuff on social media, by all means, block them. Especially if that person threatens you. Like I said, by all means, block them if they're threatening your life. I know for a fact that Zombie Fairy has me blocked. It's all good. Besides, I'm all done talking about the. I'm not going to upload any more videos talking about the wannabe patriots, the plastic and paper patriots. I'm just going to leave it to other people to basically call them out on their BS. Mm-hmm. And the KKK was who I think it was the Democrats. Oh, here we go. Fact check. Democratic Party did not found the KKK. Well, let's go back in history. Who were the South? Hold on. I'm pretty sure the Confederacy was Democratic. Well, you see the irony there? That's because the trolls don't come on your channel because, you're not an easy target like I am, apparently. Apparently, one troll said, "Well, Red, you're nothing more than an easy target." And I was like, "Okay." See, my mind tends was with yours, NG. I'm sick and tired of the mindless patriotism crap, the sheep and all of them. I'm just sick and tired of it. I really am. I think really it's at this point, even I'm perpetuating the definition of insanity. I might as well go back to uploading more GoPro fire department response videos. Get myself a camera, do some vlogging, do some ghost hunting, and do some more deathcore and death metal review videos and firearm review videos and all that. Might as well go back to that. But it's not just the mindless sheep among patriots. They're sheep that I'm sick and tired of. I'm sick and tired of the liberals that they're sheep too. I'm sick and tired of it all. I'm still dealing with the trolls on my channel. But the one thing that gets me is that all these patriots they say, "Oh well, don't how can I say this? Don't give him the satisfaction. Don't give him any more attention." Yet they give me attention. They dislike my videos. They comment on my videos. I mean, a view is still a view. So yeah, team T Rex. They just stroke their own egos. They talk about Civil War and all that. But what I mean, realistically speaking, what like in the long term, would a civil war benefit this country? Honestly, would it benefit this country? I don't see how it would. Here's why. Because individuals, how they deal with stress varies. I mean, NG or you, T Rex, you may deal with stress way differently than I do. And combat's gonna it's gonna be stressful. Simple as that. Can't believe it's almost 2 hours since I've been on live. Wow. It's a good thing I actually started listening to what Freedom Inc. has been saying for the past 2 years, watching them. That he says it's stupid that people would go around and say, "My constitutional rights, the Second Amendment grants me the right," and all that. No, it doesn't. The Second Amendment recognizes your right to keep and bear arms. That's it. And the, the other purpose is to stop the government from overstepping their bounds, but that doesn't work apparently. So the Second Amendment doesn't grant those people the right to keep and bear arms. We were born with natural rights. It would weed out the sheeple and the weak, even among the quote and unquote patriots. I mean, it's like I said before. Who's to say that another civil war won't start 50 years down the road, 100 or 150, 200 years down the road? And how long ago has it been since the first American Civil War? 150 years. There you go. I know it's bound to happen, NG. The question is, who's going to fight it? Well, the real question, T Rex, is like, I'm not so sure some liberals would fight in the so called Civil War. Um, I think it will be fought between a bunch of factions. And how do we tell who's who? Who's an ally? Who isn't? Or who's neutral? You got all these quote and unquote patriots saying, "Oh, Civil War, it's going to be Civil War. It's going to be fought by two sides, evil, good versus evil." No, it's going to be fought by multiple sides. Factionalism, tribalism. And I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be the cops and the military and the feds fighting the patriots. You know, I've actually been thinking about the possibility of World War III. I wish I had a lot of money so I can build a fallout shelter on a mountain, inside of a mountain, capacity of between 500 and maybe 10,000 people. But then there's that question, you know, you got to ask yourselves these questions. How would war um, be necessary? And I think a lot of patriots don't understand that just because they have more people, more gunners, and all that, that doesn't mean that they're going to win the war. They keep on saying, "Oh well, guerrilla warfare. It worked in guerrilla warfare worked in Vietnam, Afghanistan, and over here during the American Revolutionary War." Well, just because it worked here, over there, doesn't mean it's going to work today. Well, basically, you're seeing that right now, NG. A bunch of skirmishes. Um, you're seeing that with the BLM supporters and Antifa members against the quote and unquote patriots. And it's only a matter of time before the next time some black dude or black girl gets killed by the cops and someone says, "Oh, it was wrong," or whatever. And then they're going to riot in the streets and go back to protesting like they did with the George Floyd protest and riots. And as I understand it, the George Floyd protests and riots are still going on today. Yeah, ongoing. A year, 8 months, and 2 days. Yeah, well, the city I live near, Roanoke, here in Virginia, it's starting to get pretty bad too when it comes to shootings as well. I mean, not. I mean, a shooting. It doesn't matter if the person has been injured or not or killed. That's still bad, anyways. But apparently, from what I've heard, Roanoke City PD is struggling to get more recruits and all that. And I'm like, well, it wasn't me who wanted attention. It wasn't me who went around and said, "Oh, poor me because of my profession." Blah 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 blah. And it amazes me that the bootlickers, the cop bootlickers, denigrates other people because people actually have a brain and they choose not to worship the ground the cops stand on, walk on, run on, or sit on, and all that. All right, guys. Well, I got to get off here. I'll see y'all later. Peace.